was getting flooded with Five Nights at Freddy's news ranging from the second movie's trailer, and updates on Springtrap coming to Dead by Daylight as a killer. Next thing I knew, I was in a rabbit hole of FNAF, and it got me thinking, it can't be that hard to make a FNAF game, right? So I decided to take up the challenge by recreating a FNAF game in Unity with some extra little twists. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you keep watching my content. And with that, let's begin work on the prototype. I started out with gray boxing a pizzeria just to get an environment going to work with. Then I added the 3 iconic characters from the game, but in Minecraft Among Us format. And then I started work on the security camera system. I initially wrote the script in such a redundant and unoptimized way, basically saying that if you click on a camera, set that camera to true, and everything else to false, even if they were already set to false. I cleaned this up later, but for my first hour of work, I got a working security camera system that lets you switch between 6 different cameras, as well as the option to toggle back to the office chair and vice versa. At this point in the process, I thought it'd be cool to show a monitor that's looking into that secret back room meant for springlock failures, and to have one happen during your night and shown on that monitor. So I got this canvas to play a video of one of my older Blender animations as a little test. I also added the option to look left and right via the horizontal axes of the mouse on the screen, but it wasn't very tight and it would make it difficult to press buttons in the office later on. Since I want to show off a springlock failure, I needed it to make sense for a springlock suit to exist in this location. So instead of recreating FNAF 1, I thought it could be fun to tell a story about Fredbear's Family Diner. I don't know how accurate the layout is, let alone any of the lore surrounding it, but I think it'll be entertaining when I get around to the art of the game. Remember how I said I'd clean up the code to the camera system later? Well, I finally got an idea on how to optimize it. I basically added 2 slots, one for the currently selected camera and one for the previous camera. I essentially make whatever the current camera was before switching to the new camera into the previous camera slot, deactivate the current camera, and then set the camera I'm switching to active and make that the new current camera. This way, I don't have to make a call to all the camera objects, and I only have to worry about what I'm switching to and what I'm switching from. And now, we are going to take a time machine 1 week into the future. Which is a cover-up for the fact that I got really into the project and ended up doing a lot of work off camera, and I'm really sorry. Anyways, here's Past Victor. Take it away, me. So... How are things? It is currently, hold on, what was the last time I recorded? Oh gosh. It's been over a week since the last time I recorded something for this. That is, not great in terms of showing off my progress, but, hey, welcome back to the FNAF, game. A lot has changed. Oh gosh. So, the entire pizzeria or diner or whatever, I don't know, it's very different. So the UI also very different. Now we have night, we have AM, we have power on the bottom, and then we have a little button that says hide. Ooh, I wonder what that could be about. So let's play. So immediately you will find out that there is some free roam. We got free roam now, yeah. So I've made this mechanic where, because I wanted a little something from FNAF 4, where it's like if you do the plush trap minigame, that we do the plush trap minigame, right? You skip ahead to like what, 3 a.m. So this is going to be a collectible, like a little plushie or something. I don't know what it's going to be yet. But when you collect it, it's going to bring you to 3 a.m. I'm not going to do that right now because I just kind of want to show off what I've done. Other than that, but yeah, you can walk up on the stage, you can get close to the animatronics and stuff like that. They don't do anything. You can even come into the backstage with, I wonder what that is. So yeah, so now you got like this long hallway that you could go down, and all these rooms that you could go into. You can also sprint, so you go a little faster. I don't know if I'm gonna make it this speed, but then welcome to the office. It's very different from the last time that we saw it, because before I had like the little monitor up there. Monitor's gone. Initially, the idea was that the monitor would showcase like pre-rendered footage of like a separate back room. Instead, I'm gonna have whatever I was gonna have on that little monitor be right here. It's gonna happen right in front of you in real time. That's the plan. That's the goal. And so now you have this light over here, You shouldn't be able to press these actually, so that's actually really funny. But yeah, so you're gonna have the vent over here, then you're gonna have the door over here, and if you want to start your shift, then you gotta click on that. Immediately, night 0, 12 a.m., 100%, and it should go down. Yeah, it's going down just a little bit. This is going down. This is going to be the puppet. So you can hold down left click on this box here, and now it's going up. Once that number reaches 0, the puppet would enter the office, and that'd be like game over. That'd be the jump scare. But you know, when the game is done, this would be more like a bar or something like that. Anyway, whoa, one of them is missing. That's crazy. Where are they? Whoa, whoa. But yeah, so it was just cameras again. Hide, right. So as you know, here's the vent over here. You can't close the door. What you can do is click this button and you hide. And you just kind of have to wait until it goes away. And then you come back into your desk. Into your chair from the desk. So I want to add, I have 2 things remaining. I have 2 mechanics that I need to add. One mechanic is the under the desk mechanic, where when Bonnie comes to the vent, Fredbear isn't okay. Oh, like that. You right now, and you'll see it in the console when he's supposed to like come into the office normally. Yeah, he just reset. He resets when you are just hiding under there, and if you're not on your chair, he'll go back. So now what I want to do is when you're hiding under the desk, I want to be able to have like him walk a circle, like just one loop or something, in the office. Is Fredbear there? No. One circle around the office, and when he gets close to the desk, you have to press space, and that will make you hold your breath, and you can't hold your breath forever, right? So you know, hold your breath. Is Fredbear coming close? Oh, he's right down the hall. Cool. So yeah, so you hold your breath, and then if you succeed, he'll walk back into the vent and reset. Otherwise, he will jump scare you. Bonnie's getting close again. Okay. Fredbear is right here. Okay, we're gonna close that. And then Bonnie should come up any second now over there. And console command reset Fredbear or Fred boy, Freddy man. I don't want you here. Okay, he's gone. I am at 40% at 2 a.m. I gotta balance that. Hide. So that's for the most part the gameplay loop. But you might be thinking, well, I'm not really using the cameras a whole lot, right? I'm spending a lot of time in here just hiding from them when they get here, and then winding up the music box. So that's the second mechanic that I mentioned earlier that I want to complete. The second mechanic is something required to do in the cameras. And something I want to do is have like faces, like pull up like the whole screen. I want to be just like this really oversaturated face with like deep shadows and stuff, big eyes and everything. Kind of like the Mandela catalog stuff, like a little bit like that. I want something like that in the game, and you have to look at it for like, I don't know, 3 seconds maybe, and then it'll go away. The anomaly or whatever will go away. And a sound effect will play to notify you if something like that is in the cameras. Maybe even like have a little exclamation mark that blinks, kind of like a FNAF 2 with the music box, something like that. And then the reason why you want to get rid of them is because there's going to be something detrimental to your night. Maybe it'll disable your power percentage, so you won't be able to see how much power you're using, or maybe it'll turn back time by an hour every, I don't know, every so often, or maybe you can't close the door, stuff like that. It'll lock you out from something that is necessary for you to finish your night. So that way you have to get so you have to get rid of that in the camera, and it could be in any camera randomly. They'll appear, and then they'll go away, and then you can continue with your night. So that will make use of what's in front of you, the music box. That'll make use of the hiding mechanic. That'll make use of the door mechanic. The lights I'm still working on. And it'll make use of the camera mechanic. So I want you to use everything here. I made these for a reason. So I want you to use them for a reason. I just realized I'm going to lose power here. Uh-oh. Yeah, so I have lost power. And as you can see, while I can still wind up the music box because that's going to be a separate thing for the power, I can't click any lights. I can't close the door. I can still hide. So if Bonnie comes in, I can still hide. Otherwise, if Fredbear comes in, I am dead. I guess we could get jump scared, so I'll just wait for the timer to go down. So I'll see you in like 20 seconds. Well, I mean, Bonnie's right here. Yep, and I got jump scared by Bonnie, and then puppet. There's the puppet. There's the puppet jump scare. Fredbear might actually be down the hall. Oh yeah, I can still. Good to know. I haven't really tested the power outage mechanic quite yet, so yeah, this button should probably not even be here. Oh, look at that. Ooh, let's just get rid of that. In terms of AI, this is it. This is all I got for the AI, and basically it's just saying start at the very beginning position, take the list that I have of numbers, and I think it's like what, 6? Yeah, list num 6. Just cycle through that, pick a random move time so they don't move at like, 5 seconds every interval or something like that. And you can divide that by the difficulty, which is handled through the game manager, which what this does is basically just cutting down the time through division. It just says, oh, if you're at 0 difficulty, then any number divided by 0 is 0, so they just won't move. And if you divide it by 1, that's their normal speed. Divide by 2, that's like twice the speed, so on and so forth. So it's not going to be like to 20, like 20 different levels of difficulty. It's probably going to be like 5 maybe. And I think that fits because if it's 5 nights, they just up the difficulty by 1 each night, something like that. Then it waits for the move time. Then it will transform, set the transform of the object of whatever the animatronic is, Bonnie or Fredbear, move it to the next number, and if the number is greater than or equal to 6, which should be the maximum amount of points, if you are hiding, specifically for specifically for Spring Bonnie, if you're hiding, it'll just reset. Otherwise, it'll come into the office and jump scare you. And it's basically the same thing for Fredbear, it's just, is the door closed or not? It's basically the same code. And the puppet is just, it unwinds over time, but if you're clicking the wind up box, the music box, it'll go up, and then if time runs out, then it enters your office, and then it just updates. For now, at least, it'll update the that string on the canvas, so you know how much time you have left. And that's it for the AI. It's really nothing that crazy. So after this, it's going to be any like coding tweaks, but it's mostly going to be working on the art and the ambience and storytelling, all that sort of stuff. I have a working FNAF game though. I could tweak the numbers here and there now and then. That's not really much of the coding. That's more of game balancing. In terms of code and getting mechanics in, most of it is done. So I'm very happy with how this is going. And hopefully I record some more of my progress so you can see me actually working on this stuff rather than me giving you a tour of stuff I've already done. And I'll have a working FNAF game. Spoiler alert, I still had moments of work done off camera. Like right now I have zones you hover over to hide or pull up the camera rather than buttons that I had originally. As past Victor has mentioned, I wanted to add 2 mechanics, a breathing minigame when Spring Bonnie enters the office while you're under the desk, and some faces in the cameras that add a debuff to your night until they go away from looking at them. For the breathing minigame, I made a box collider that juts out from beneath the desk. If Spring Bonnie hits it, it's game over. Otherwise, you can hold your breath by holding down space and deactivating the box collider. However, you only have 5 seconds to hold your breath. Otherwise, it'll reactivate the box collider, and you have to wait to gather your breath again before you're able to press space again. After that, I managed to get the faces in the camera working. However, I really coded this horribly. But it does work in the end, though the frame rate does suffer a little bit because of that. I do plan on optimizing the code at some point, but my main focus was to get a working prototype by any means. Essentially, if a face is active in a camera, a bool directly tied to that camera will trigger to true. Then if you click on the button to go to that camera, a coroutine will start. If you wait 3 seconds without clicking on another button, the face will go away. Otherwise, if the previous camera is equal to the camera you were just looking at with the face, it'll stop the coroutine and the face will remain until you are there for the whole 3 seconds. Of course, since I'm not worrying about art yet, I needed something to act as the face for a placeholder, so I'm using this image of Grimal I made a while ago, and he will not be getting paid any royalties. After that, it was just some cleanup, polishing, minor bug fixing, and after 3 weeks of work, I present to you my prototype build. Hello, and welcome to Springbound. I don't know if I really need to do an intro for this. I keep doing it every time I boot up a game, so I guess it's just second nature, huh? But yeah, this is the prototype for the FNAF game. It is done, it's built, it's here, it's no longer in Unity. Here I run around a little bit babbling nonsense until I finally make it to the office to start my shift. Basically just talking about stuff I've already brought up. Oh man, a lot has changed. So I have the night number, I have the time, you can look left and right. You got like the dead zone in the center rather than the way that I used to have it where it just followed your mouse. I hated that. You can turn on the lights, you can close the door, you can hide underneath your desk when Spring Bonnie is coming through the vent. You have the puppet that winds up, and then when it also winds down. You got your camera system, and you can swap between all the different cameras, and you can see where the animatronics are, or not. Then you can't hide if you're in the cameras, you can't access the cameras when you hide. Everything is through like just hovering over it like in the normal games, and you know, clicking on the lights and the doors buttons and stuff for that stuff. So it's a lot more fluid, it feels more familiar, and I really should wind this up because I am almost halfway down. After my breakdown of what you're able to do, I feel like I should give a rundown of how my night went. For starters, the night's difficulty equates to about night 3 of what I want for the game, where everything is active at once and is the baseline difficulty for everything. The first couple of nights won't have as many threats in order to get you used to the mechanics of each part of the game before throwing the kitchen sink at you. Each night takes about 9 to 10 minutes to complete, after which you would then walk out the front door to start your next shift. Or at least, that was the plan. No! It says game over behind me. No! I was just too late on that. Ah! Where's my skip time? Because I don't want... Is it here? Oh, no. Here. Oh, no. Music box! Or puppet box. Okay. So now my night will skip to 3 a.m. Aha! If anything, maybe it was a good thing that I died, because now I can show you the time skipping mechanic. So yeah, now I'm automatically at 3 a.m. and I only have to survive 3 hours. And every single night, the intention is every single night this item will spawn and it will be then collected onto your desk. I don't have that yet, but the idea is that there's these little plushies that you find throughout the diner, and then you kind of like create your collection on the desk, and so you know which night you've collected the plushie from. And I think that'd be kind of cute, because then it's also not just like oh, I want to skip the night. It's also oh, I want to get this collectible. And obviously it's not going to be so easy to find, because right now everything is just gray walls and stuff, and that's a red cube and gray walls. So it's really easy to find, but when the game is arted and there's like shelves, there's doors, there's, you know, all these sorts of props and stuff in the game, suddenly it's going to be a lot harder to find these things. Something I wanted to touch on was why I made the mechanics that I did for the game. Initially, I was going to have just Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, but then it would be too simple of a game and you wouldn't have much reason to use the cameras. So I wanted to give you a reason to look through all of your cameras, and the face mechanic entices you to do so because otherwise you will gain a hindrance to your gameplay. I wanted the music box because 3 is a magic number, right? 2 animatronics are cool, but 3 is better. Plus I really like the puppet. I added the hiding mechanic because I wanted that feeling of something being in the room with you. There's this extra suspense from those encounters, so I feel like having one door and one hiding space is a good balance. Eventually, I hit 6 a.m. and it was time for me to head home. And when you go to the stage, ta-da! The puppet is not working, so it doesn't just suddenly jump scare you and end your game. All the animatronics reset to the main stage, and you can leave your shift for the next night. The next episode of the miniseries will be me arting everything. You know, giving Spring Bonnie and Fredbear actual models that look like Spring Bonnie and Fredbear. Actually having, you know, party tables here, actually having like a door here, and you know, an office that actually looks like I'm sitting down in a chair with a real camera system and stuff. The puppet and the music box. Like I have a lot of modeling to get done. And then after that, I still have the sounds that I gotta get in. I still have the game balancing I gotta make sure is done, making sure the rest of the nights work well and all that sort of stuff. So there's still a lot more work to this, but I feel like in about a month of work, I was able to create this prototype and get this video out. And I am very happy with that. And I hope you guys are excited for the future of it. And I'm sorry that I haven't made videos throughout my development process of this. I kind of just narrowed in and just beeline focused on this project because I was like, oh, I have this idea. Oh, I have this idea. Oh, I know how I want to make this, but I don't have time today to finish it, so I'm going to do it tomorrow. And next thing I know, I made the project. So sorry about that. I will try to be better about that in the future. This will take time. I'm new to this. I'm sorry. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!